All righty. Let you guys fire away. Colin,
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you
Sorry.
talk.
Okay. Yeah, once again, we're all kind of in the same room, so we'll just pass the computer around, and you'll hear from all of us. So I'll start us off, Coach. Congrats on the win. I guess I'll ask you first, how did it feel to, finally score and, get to score so early and play with the lead? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a huge difference, right? We've talked about that all season long. When you're playing Big 12 or any quality competition, it's always goals change games. It's a silly cliche in soccer, but it's so true. So when we got the early lead, number one, it gives us confidence, and it means they have to attack us more, and we can sit back and defend a little bit more. So it just changes the whole complexion of the game. Kansas got the first goal against us, and they were able to just sit back and frustrate us, and we did a little bit of that to Texas tonight. So I was really proud. It was a great goal. We've worked with Charmaine and been talking about serving some early crosses, and she hit an unbelievable ball. And, Liv has the talent to finish those chances, and, she stepped up and scored. So, yeah, it made a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one thing I was going to hit on is, did you feel like there was more openings kind of later in the second half tonight than the Kansas game, where it seemed like Kansas was able to just really clamp down and lock up and, play everyone back? Did it seem to be more open in this second half tonight?
Yeah, for sure, because we were winning and Texas had to come play. Even the first half, Texas, they're not a team that really sits in like Kansas does. So they leave openings. They get quite expansive in attack. And, we're a team that's really built to allow you to attack and then hit you on the counter attack. That's really our best, or I should say that's one of our best deals. So, the fact that we scored early and they had to push numbers up really opened up to what we're good at, which is trying to hit teams on the break quickly. And, so that's probably the main difference between this game and the Kansas game.
Awesome. And the last thing I'll ask you is, did you feel any pressure to, make sure there were some goals scored tonight? I know probably a couple, low-scoring games in a row. That stretch probably didn't feel good. Did you feel any pressure to, make sure to have a good offensive game?
I didn't, but I would imagine you're going to talk to Liv in a little bit. I'm sure the forwards feel the pressure more than we do because they want to score. That's what attacking kids love to do. So, look, you're not going to score every game. We try to talk to our attacking kids about that. It's just it's really difficult to do. And so, whenever you have a couple of games where you don't get on the score sheet, it kind of weighs on you, I think, as an attacking kid. So I was proud of our attacking players, not just for the goals, but we created some good looks as well. And, they never doubted their ability. You just hope that their confidence allowed them to, believe that they would be able to finish that chance. And I think Olyvia deserves a lot of credit and Grace a lot of credit for, still believing in himself and showing a lot of resolve.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Coach. I'll pass it off to Jacob, and good. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach.
Hello.
So my first thing I'm going to ask is, whenever you get that second goal, and it comes from a corner specifically, what does that change any complexion from just how the girls are playing?
Yeah, I think whether it's intentional or not, when you get that 2-goal cushion, the tendency is to sit back a little bit and be a little more conservative, even if that's not an instruction from the bench. It's just human nature. And the other side is Texas are now throwing everything forward. And if you don't drop back, you're going to get outnumbered in the back and give them a goal. So it just kind of comes with it. And, I got to give Grace a ton of credit, but also, Justin, our assistant coach, talked about how vulnerable Texas might be on corner kicks because they zone, they don't man mark at all. And we talked about being aggressive, and we walked through that delivery and run in practice the other day. So it's, it's a credit to the kids for executing it, but I think, Justin deserves credit for recognizing that, and we certainly showed it to him. And, it changed everything. At 1-0, there's a little bit of nerves and anxiety. At 2-0, I think you relax a little bit more because you got that cushion.
And then with the weather specifically being so cold, did you think that everybody on the pitch kind of felt that, or was the movement kind of negating how cold it was?
Yeah, I think when you're out there, you don't notice it because you're just so in the moment. Even us standing on the sideline, I was warm. I wasn't cold just because you're so intense and into the game. And it was windy and cold, but it was the same for both teams. I don't think it influenced the game greatly. But we talked before the game. When the weather's like that, you can come out and pout about it and whine and say it's cold and complain, or you can roll your sleeves up and just say, look, let's get after these guys and play hard. And I was proud of our kids. We came out with a really good mentality.
And then how do you establish that same level of intensity next weekend?
It'll be quite easy. We know how good Texas Tech are. They're having a tough season. They've had a lot of injuries and a few COVID issues, but we know how good their coaches are. We know how good their team is. We always have very, very tough games with them. So I don't think it'll be super hard. I was more worried about this week, just coming off the tight loss at Kansas. You just hope that, your kids would be able to bounce back. And, I shouldn't have worried. I mean, they're a resilient bunch. And I think that win will help us a lot. And then we'll be fired up for Texas Tech. It's our last home game of the fall, so we'll be super excited to play.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Coach.
Of course.
Hey, Coach, I also want to ask you about that corner kick. We looked it up here in the booth, and it was the first time all season you guys had scored on a corner, and there were 30 prior attempts to you guys finally breaking through. Why do you think you guys hadn't been able to break through on the corner kicks this season?
Probably a combination of things. We've obviously played a lot less games. I think before we actually talked about we hadn't scored a set play, corner really, or free kick, I don't think, all season. And so we talked about that in practice this week. That might be the difference. And so, can be delivery sometimes. The cross has to be perfect. Can be the opposition. If the opposition goalkeeper's very big, she can control that box. And part of it's the aggressive runs. You want your kids to be aggressive and attack the ball. And the delivery was good. Grace's run was good. So, and like I said, it's credit to Justin. He pointed it out on video that might be a weak spot for us, and we were able to exploit it. So I was really proud of the group.
And I think that's awesome that Justin was able to look on film and point it out, and you guys practiced it. Did you at all, were you practicing that with the intention of using it? And were you kind of like surprised that it worked? Or, you were more expecting it to work since you had practiced it all week?
I don't know if I expected it to work, but I certainly thought we had a chance. It was an opportunity. And so, we had sent in a couple of dangerous balls in the first half, and for some reason they just kind of went behind for a goal kick and we didn't get on the end of it. So, credit for Grace probably making a better run and timing the run a little bit better. So, I wouldn't say I expected it to work, but we knew we had a chance because we do have girls who can hit really good delivery. And especially Yochum and maybe Rodriguez, we certainly have a couple of threats in the air.
And what do you think makes Grace Yochum so good in the box? You just said her great runs and stuff. Do you think maybe her height has anything to do with that?
Yeah, her height, and she tracks the ball really well. Grace was a very good basketball player in high school, and she's just a good athlete. So she's able to, track balls in the air very well. You can see that when she's tracking like a goal kick or a punt. So her timing's very good, and she's aggressive. She loves to score, so she's not afraid to throw her body in there and try to get on the end of it.
And last thing is, can you give me a quick estimate on maybe how many times you'd practice that specific play leading up to the match this week?
We didn't, not that much. It was more about, we showed it to him on video, and then we walked through it on, Thursday. So we probably served 10 balls, I would guess, maybe 5 from each side. And just kind of, it was really windy Thursday, so it didn't work in practice. But we just showed him kind of where we wanted it and what we wanted him to do. So maybe 10 times would be a good guess.
Gotcha. Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Okay, I think you're all good.
We're good? All right, I got Olyvia here next.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
All right, thank you. Let's go, Superstar.
All right, hi, Olyvia. We're all in the same room, so we'll just pass the computer back and forth, and you'll hear from Jacob, Ben, and myself. I'll start off by asking you kind of simply, how did it feel to, A, finally score, and B, be able to score so early and play with a lead?
Obviously all credit to the build up to the play. I mean, everything was really good. G holding the ball, slipping that ball in for Charmaine taking a good touch and looking up and seeing that she could play that early cross, and then me just beating the girl to the ball first and finishing it. So it's just a lot of grit all around and really good quality. So, just doing my job and putting the ball in the back of the net. So.
Yeah, and one thing I was kind of wondering, I guess contrasting it with the Kansas game is, since you guys got a lead, did it feel like in the second half things were more open and Texas had to play offense instead of like Kansas where they could kind of constrict and make it really hard for you guys to score an equalizer?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I have full confidence in our defense 24/7. I mean, we throw our bodies in front of the ball. They stop their best players constantly. We just kind of do our job. So at the end of the day, if our offense isn't clicking, our defense normally always is. So getting that early goal is really important for us. And then obviously getting that second one just kind of puts the cherry on top. And we can kind of just sit back and kind of relax and kind of let them come at us. That's something that we've never been afraid of from teams, is just kind of coming at us, just because we are very strong defensively.
Yeah, and I think this game snapped a little bit of a bad streak that I doubt you liked. Three games without a score. So did you feel any pressure maybe leading into this game, or when the whistle blew for the first time to make sure to get on the board?
I mean, for sure, there's always pressure to score. You're an offensive player, and that's your job. So, excuse me, the last 3 games we played, we didn't get our job done. But at the same time, there are a lot of other factors that go into play. And today, we had a really good week at practice. We worked a lot on our offense, and I think that showed today. And just the quality of the little chances that we got, I think we just did well and put the ball in the back of the net.
Okay, well, congratulations on the win. Good luck on next Friday for Texas Tech, and I'll pass the computer to Jacob.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hey, Olyvia.
Hi.
So one of the things I was wondering was, at what point in the build-up play do you know that this is a goal-scoring opportunity and I'm going to get a shot at goal?
Well, obviously when G gets the ball and holds it, you kind of have to be a little bit of an option to her just in case she wants to lay it back. But I also saw Charmaine, flying down the flank, and she did too. So as soon as she turned to player, I just knew that I had to get into the box, and I was faster than their center back, but I also had to time my run because I could have been offsides. But also her seeing that early ball, it just all kind of came together perfectly. So right when I saw that she got the ball and looked up, I knew that she was going to play it. So then it was a matter of just beating the defender to the ball first.
And then one of the things you guys were doing right before the match was you were going through a lot of the crosses into the box and then finishing. How I guess ironic is kind of an odd word for it, but how does it how does it feel to see it translate so clearly?
It feels good. I feel like this year it's been a lot harder for us to finish off a cross. I think that was one of our first goals. We actually, finished from a ball coming from the outside. And Charmaine and Hannah Webb do so much work out there every single game. So just kind of being able to be productive and get that goal, I think it helps her confidence. It helped my confidence. It helped our team's confidence. So it's something we work on all the time. And we're very confident in our players that play those positions. So being able just to get some productivity and it resulting in a goal it's really nice for our confidence as a whole. And it's really good to see.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you.
I'll put it down. Hey, Olyvia, I wanted to ask you about that second goal you guys got. Am I remembering correctly that the corner kick was set up by one of your shots that was deflected out of bounds?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Gotcha. So kind of walk me through, where were you on the field when you saw that whole thing go down? What was your perspective on the goal?
Okay, so literally, Yokes looks at me and she goes, the ball's going to come right here, like expecting me to be the one that's going to head the ball. And I was like, yeah, okay. Because, she's 5'9", like she's so tall. So I was like, yeah, okay. Like that's just, I didn't say that to her, obviously, but I was just thinking, I was like, okay, yeah. And so I stood where she wanted me to, but obviously when the ball did come literally right there, all I did was back up and she was just in a good position. And, she is 5'9", and the ball just landed on her head. And obviously you have to put it in the back of the net. And that's exactly what she did. And she's really good at headers to begin with. So I was like, yeah, I'm not really the header type. And she is. So it was just really funny how it all worked out. But she scored and it was a goal. So it was awesome.
Wait, so she told you exactly where it was going to be?
Yeah. She's like, the ball's going to come right here, Liv. Like, you're going to get it. And I was like, yeah, okay. Because I was standing right behind her. So as soon as the ball came in, it literally went exactly where she said it was going to go. But all I did was back up. She backed up and then just headed it in. So it was funny.
Gotcha. So when that ball was in the air, were you like, I'm going to get it, or were you more in the attitude of, I'm going to back up and let Yochum?
I'm gonna back up and let Yochum. yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks, Olyvia.
Of course.
Okay, I think you're good. I appreciate it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys.
See you.
Who's next? Hey Grace.
Get on the chart. All right. Hi, Grace.
Hi.
So it's the three of us in here. We're just on one computer, so I'll ask you some questions, then I'll pass it around so you can hear from every one of us. But
Sounds good.
I'll start it off. Just as a whole, maybe as a team, like how good did it feel to finally score, break that drought, but also score early enough where you could play with a lead?
Yeah. We've been working on it a lot in practice, and we know they would come. I mean, we're a good team. We've got good players, so it's not a matter of if, but a when, And so we just kept knocking on the door, and we knew a couple would go in, and they did. So definitely playing with the lead helps. But yeah, I mean, Charmaine's ball to Liv was top class, and same with Kim to me.
Yeah, no doubt. And on that first goal, was there maybe, a sense of relief from you? Or what were you feeling when you saw that go in and, Neil Patterson Stadium erupted and you finally got on the board?
Definitely relief. We've been working really hard on that, and they executed perfectly. Liv doesn't miss that, and Charmaine put it right on the money. I mean, that's – if you go back and watch a film, I mean, that is as clean as it'll get, and Liv buried it.
No doubt. And I guess last thing I'll ask you, kind of contrasting – tonight versus the game against Kansas was, at least from my perspective, when I was watching the game, when Kansas jumped out to the lead, it seemed like, everyone, you had played more offensively and Kansas got to play more defensively, and that kind of just congested the field and made it more difficult. Did it feel like there was more space out here in the second half because, the roles were flipped, or am I off?
No, you're spot on. When you go down, you definitely have a sense of urgency, and that's what we got from Texas. And when that happens, you push a lot of numbers forward, but in contrast to that, you leave it to where you can get counterattacked. And so we knew that going in, and we knew we got to catch them on the break when they lose it, because they're going to lose it eventually. And when we get it, we got to go. And that's kind of what we did. And then that's kind of what happened on that corner kick and how we got that. But yeah, it changed the entire game when you score early. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and last thing before I get to Jacob, what do you think? What was your vantage point of that Emily Plotz save to conserve the shutout? I guess over there to my left. What did you think about that?
I mean, it kept us in the game. Like, it kept us – the difference between a 1-2 game and a 0-2 game is huge, especially with, like, there's a lot of time left, maybe 25 or 30 minutes left in the game. So, yeah, she came up big, and that's what you need from your keeper. You need 3 or 4 big-time saves to keep you in games and to win games, and she showed up.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the win. I'm going to pass it off to Jacob.
Thanks.
Great.
So what's the when you're in a position to get into the box for a corner, what do you have, like a set thing that you do, or how do you read where you think the ball is going to go?
Well, Kim and I have always talked about it, and she usually looks for me, and we work a lot of it on practice and kind of where she's going to kick it. And I kind of have an idea of where she's going to place it, and she put it right on the money. I mean, all I had to do was put something on it, and it was going in.
And then just how did you feel like the midfield did, just kind of controlling the game as a whole?
I think it was a totally different game in the midfield. We knew that Berg and Grosso were their 2 best players, and we knew that they were going to – whatever they do is going to go through them. And so we really worked a lot on focusing where they were and stopping them. But good players are going to get the ball. So it's not kind of just taking them out of the game, but just limiting their chances. And I think, I mean, the talking, the communication on the field was great. Me and Cammie and Allie and Kim and everyone back there, we were all talking. And so it helped tremendously. And then when we got it to Liv or to Becca or to Meg or to G. But just in the midfield, it just looks so much better. It looks so much more fluid. And as a team, we just look so good.
And then whenever you're like whenever there's a few fouls and it can kind of get kind of chippy, how do you think the team responds to that kind of level of aggression? And do you think that whenever you see the other team get kind of into that mindset, do you feel like you've kind of like won the game?
In a sense, but since we had the lead, we kind of had nothing to lose. Like they had to bring it to us, and we didn't really want to give them too much, but just kind of I guess get in their head a little bit because they're frustrated, they're flustered. They're down 2-0. They got to do something or they're going to lose the game. And so just kind of keeping our composure and staying calm was the biggest thing. And obviously it's going to get chippy. These are big games. Every Big 12 game is a huge game. And obviously with Texas, it's always big. So, I mean, it's going to get like that, but it's just kind of keeping your cool and staying calm.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Grace.
Thank you.
Hey, Grace, I also wanted to ask you a little bit about that second goal. You guys had your header. I spoke with Olyvia after the match, and she said that you told her right where the ball was going to go. And it sure came right to the spot you told her. How did you know it was going to go there?
Hey, that's Kimberly Rodriguez in a nutshell. I mean, she puts it right on the money, and I knew because from the first corner kick, she hit it hard. She overhit it. I thought she was going to go near post. That's where I went. But after the first one, I saw where she was going, and so I kind of just planned myself. I told Liv to go back post really far back in case it like spilled out, and then I kind of went on the far post, and I just stood there, and she put it right there.
Are you kind of like the coach down there? It seems like you know Kim like really well. I think you've played together for a long time now. You can predict, where her shots are going to go, so that's nice. Are you kind of the one directing everybody around, kind of telling everyone where to go?
And for corner kicks, majority, yes. But I'll kind of, position everyone. You go front, you go back. But normally in games, Allie Jackson's the one that you can always hear. I mean, she's always coaching, watch here. But it's a really collective team effort. I always hear Cammy talk, and I'm talking, and Kim's talking, he's talking, and Liv, and everyone's talking. So I think it's a team effort because there's going to be times when I'm going to make a run and then I'm going to get tired and I can't, I'm so tired I can't even talk. So I think we just kind of piggyback off one another and get the job done through that.
So now, how soon did Kim kick that ball? How soon did you know you were going to score it?
Probably when it was going right above the goal. I mean, 'cause she lofted it. So and Texas is kind of suspect on corner kicks. They play a zone, and anytime you play a zone, the focus is you got to attack the ball. And so we knew going in that like that's kind of where they're suspect. And so I just kind of put myself right there, and she hit it right to me.
And now prior to your goal, you guys hadn't scored on a corner kick all season. You were we looked it up here in the booth, 0 for 30 prior up to that point. Why do you think that was?
Execution. That's focus. The coaches kind of got onto us about, we scored a ton of goals last year off free kicks, corner kicks, anything. But like you said, we haven't scored really any this year. So we really wanted to make a focus on it, and we worked on it in practice. But it's just those little moments, like the game changes if it's 1-0, and then it really changes if it's 2-0. And so that was a really crucial goal to kind of get a little bit of a cushion. But yeah, the coaches were just kind of on us to just be more clinical and be smarter in those positions. Because, I mean, a corner kick is a great opportunity to score, and that'll win you or lose you a game.
Do you like being on the receiving end of corner kicks? Is that one of your favorite plays of soccer?
100%. I think it's all about attacking the ball, and it's a mindset. If you have the mindset, if you're scared of it, or you don't, if you're kind of like halving, you don't really know if you're gonna get it, then you're not gonna get it. But it's all about attacking it and thinking that you're gonna score every time. And I mean, my teammates hype me up, and they're like, "It's all you, whatever." So definitely in the moment, it's fun. I do like it, yeah.
And Grace, my last question for you is, why do you think you're, successful with corner kicks? Somebody threw out your height. Coach, I think, threw out your aggression. Why do you think you like corner kicks and are successful with them?
I mean, obviously my height does play a role in it, and I think Colin, I heard him mention I played basketball, and I played basketball pretty much all my life, and so just kind of judging the ball and getting up there. And then when you get up there, it's hard to like, the key to a corner kick is you got to head it down. Anytime you head it down, it's gone. You probably going to score. So I think just kind of not being scared of it. Cause I mean, sometimes they hurt and whatever, but the ones that go in, then you win the game. It's so worth it.
Gotcha. Well, thanks, Grace. Congrats on the win.
Thanks, guys.
I think you're all good.
All good? Okay.
Appreciate the insight.
Everybody
Thank
good?
y'all.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you, Wade.